Comedy's really important to me. It's like a friend for me that's there when things go bad. It didn't come to me till I actually turned 21 because I had been trying to do stand up for a while, and I was only 20 when I wanted to do it, and there wasn't like a place on campus to do it, and the only other place to do it is a bar. And I started it for people that weren't 21, so they had somewhere to go. So that's why I started it. I want to say thank you to my vice president Sophie. She is the best person to ever have on any kind of team ever.
Good evening, everybody. So I recently just turned 21. Woo! Right? Yeah. So I've, been going to the bars a little more often. And I've just been encountering these really wonderful people. Like, I will be out with a group of my girlfriends, woo! And then, like, all of a sudden, guys just approach me, and they're like, so what are you? What am I? What am I not? I'm like an older sister to Ron Jerome. I'm a daughter to the one and only Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Like, I'm a cousin. I'm a friend. I'm a good companion. I was gonna say I'm a magician. I'm a musician. I'm a student. Like, I'm so many of these beautiful things, and I don't know. My heart just gets filled up with so much joy knowing that this stranger just like wants to know what I am, right? And then I kind of keep talking about what I am, and then he goes, no, like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I understand now. Yeah, and I just tell him that I'm from California. Yeah, because I moved to Pittsburgh from California for school, and then I kind of start talking about my life, and I'm honestly in so much awe and wonder about how, like, guys just really want to get to know you, like the core of your beautiful, like, soul, and I just feel so honored. And then he goes on to say, like, no, where are your parents from? And then that's when it hits me. He wants to know about my family! Are you kidding me? He hasn't even asked me for my name, and he wants to know where my parents are from? Yeah. So I just go on to tell him that, yeah, like, my dad is from Seattle, and my mom is from Albuquerque, and they actually, like, met in Colorado. They went to school. And then I just tell them about my parents' love story, and I guess guys just get so inspired by what I tell them, they, like, move on, as if, like, they feel like they need to find the person for them. Maybe they're from Seattle and they need to find their woman from Albuquerque. So those are the beautiful experiences that I've had while I've been to the bars. One not so beautiful experience, though, is that I got peed on once. Like, by a human. And, saying that is a little more degrading than saying that a pigeon, like, pooped on you. Like, yeah, I got peed on by an actual human being. So I was being a good friend, and, I also had to pee, I guess, but we had to go to the bathroom together, as girls do, because we can't do things by ourselves. And we were in one of those, like, one-person stalls, and that was the first mistake, I guess. And so I do my business, and then, we do like a switcheroo, it's like you pee and then you switch, right? And then I felt something on my foot, and I knew it wasn't my pee because I was all done. And I knew it wasn't like the sink because, like, I wasn't washing my hands, we were still in the stall. And then that's when it clicked, that this was another girl's pee on my foot. I was wearing flats, and for those of you that don't wear flats often, you don't wear socks with flats. It's just pee and my human skin in contact with each other by this girl that I had met 5 minutes ago. That's unfortunate, And then, like, it's funny because she was actually in one of my classes. Yeah. So, like, it was like one of those instances where like we sit far away from each other. We don't talk to each other, but then I see her the next time we had class, and I recognized, oh yes, you are the urinator. It's crazy stuff, yeah. So aside from bars, I'll talk about something else. So I've noticed that that Caucasian children get away with so much more growing up than me. Like, calling your parents by their first names to their face? Not me, absolutely not. One time, my brother called my mom Lenny, and she yelled at him for 5 minutes. They started crying. Yeah, he was 16. Crazy stuff. And like this whole like cussing in front of your parents, oh, absolutely not. No. One time I said dang in front of my mother, and she told me to apologize to Jesus Christ. I recall this one time in middle school, this guy I was in musical theater with, his name is Jeff. Good old Jeff, he's a jokester, right? He was talking about how he was in a fight with his mom, and his mom called him a son, and he said, yeah, I am. Are you kidding me?
Charlie, how you guys doing?
Hi, Charlie.
Nice to meet you guys. So I drive a 2001 Honda Civic. It's a pretty sweet car. Have you guys heard of it before? You seen me on the roads, driving around? It's pretty sweet. If you want to ride after, I'll probably give you one, you know? It can't be very far though, because it won't get very far, but I can probably get you to like a few blocks over, you know? It'll be fun. But I've noticed something about my 2001 Honda Civic that's different than other cars. It's the car horn. So you know like how when you like honk at someone, like the car horn, like when you honk, it's supposed to be like, hey, stop doing what you do. Like, stop doing that. I don't like that. When I honk my horn, it's kind of like, hey, how you doing? So this is like too nice of like a car horn, you know what I mean? Like, it's really bad, like, say like I'm driving down the road, you know, like listening, and like some music or whatever, the news, I don't know, and then I'm driving, and then all of a sudden like someone cuts me off, like honk. Person looks behind them and be like, hey, do I know that guy? He gets mad. It's like stuff like will keep on happening to it, you know, like stuff will like keep on happening, like it'll get broken, like other stuff will just like, everything will go wrong with it, so like instead of like fixing it, I'll just like turn up the music louder so I don't hear the sounds it's making. That like seems to be working a little bit. Has anyone ever given you like one Advil? Like you have like a really bad headache, and then someone just like gives you one Advil? Like, thanks, like I didn't know I was like 2 years old, this is really gonna help. Like with my like blistering headache, thanks, you might as well give me like a gum drop. Thanks, I appreciate that. That's always the worst. Like, have you guys like heard of carpal tunnel before? Has anybody had it before? Alright, I guess nobody's had carpal tunnel. The crippling injury of carpal tunnel. Can you imagine trying to explain carpal tunnel to someone like 1,000 years ago, like a caveman? Well, I guess not 1,000 years ago, like maybe more than 1,000 years ago, whenever the time period cavemen were. Can you imagine like explaining carpal tunnel to them? Like you're just like in the like emergency room with a caveman in some like weird universe, and then you say to the caveman, oh, so like, why are you in here? He's like, well, like a lion like ripped off my arm when I was like trying to like get it for dinner. What about you? Oh, I have like carpal tunnel, you know? Like I was like typing weird at work, and like now like kind of like I have to put like this brace on. It looks like the lamest disease ever. You know, like anybody who flosses too much? You know what I mean? Like flossing is like one of the biggest things ever. Like I would rather take up smoking than start flossing every single day. Because flossing is like the worst thing ever. Like I cannot understand people who floss. Like it's just like I like know like a guy and he flosses like 3 times a day, and it really scares me. Like I cannot like understand like how he does it. Like I'll just like see him just like flossing throughout the day, and it's just like really, he just like has his life together way too much that like it really just like it really scares me. You know what I mean? Like I can like barely like remember to floss my teeth like every other day, but he's just like always flossing. Like and he like when he gets his homework, he'll do it the same day. Can you imagine that? It's like almost like a superpower, but like jeez. I really like that. You ever like know like people like when celebrities will say like they have no regrets? You know what I'm saying? Like celebrities will be like, well, like I've been through a lot in my life. Like I've had 3 drug overdoses. Like been to jail 16 times, but you know what? I have no regrets. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? I'm sure you have a few regrets. Like Charlie Sheen said he has no regrets in life. I'm like, can't you just have one regret? Maybe don't get AIDS? You know what I mean? Come on. I mean, like, come on. It's like one regret. It's always the worst people who don't have regrets. It's never like, and people like who are like successful be like, yeah, I have one regret, you know? Like, I wish I would have like invested in this one thing. I'd be like, instead of having $20 billion, I have $30 billion. But then like, all these other people are like, man, I have no regrets. And you're like, oh, you sure? So, I don't know. You've done a lot of bad things. Maybe like, it's one regret. Like, I have regrets all the time. Like one time, like I bought something and then I get home and then like, I'm just like, I forgot to like use the coupon. I'm like, that sucks. Like, by the time machine, I'd go back and do that. And there's other people like have no regrets.
Alright, so I joined Tinder recently. Anyone else out there on Tinder? Ooh, any guys? No? It's okay, it's okay. Admit your shame. I've been hyped up to go on Tinder since I've been at Duquesne. And I've never had such a letdown. Oh my gosh. More than anything else, on Tinder, there are dogs. And I don't mean like ugly guys. There's those too, but like, mostly it's just men's dogs. And then their bio is something really generic-y, like, I'm looking for a down-to-earth girl who I can really get to know with. I'm really into going out to coffee. And then if you match with them, they're like, so, what you doing tonight? And I'm like, are we getting coffee? At 11:30 p.m., is that the plan? I don't know, online dating to me is so bizarre. Because, first of all, almost every picture, if they do have a picture of their face, is maybe like this much of their face. It's like the corner of their eye, and I'm supposed to be like, yes. I know exactly what I'm getting out of this person. But if I do get a full face, it's usually like from a really awkward angle. It's never like straight on, it's like way up here. So I either get awkward face position or it's way down here and I get mega double chin. No perfect medium. Guys, I know you don't like it, but you gotta take a learning from the girls and just take a good selfie.
My name is Gabe. I have a book this time, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I like to take walks, but not like normal walks, like walks at like midnight or like 11 p.m. because I don't value my safety. And I hate public transit. So I was trying to get to Oakland the other day, and I didn't realize that the hills separate us and Oakland. So I start wandering around, looking at, oh, this is fine, this is okay, you know, me and my headphones, just kind of doing my little walk. And then my phone says, take a left here. I look up. I see 3 abandoned buildings. It looked like something straight out of the Hunger Games. And at that moment I realized, yeah, nope, the chicken is not worth it, we are going home. So I want to be an RA, and they have a group interview process. And one of the things is an escape room. So they have us come in, and they say, okay, please, you know, line up against the wall. And my brain was like, oh my God, if they told us to turn around and put our hands behind our head, this is it. This, you know, thank God the tuition's refundable. But you know, I'm trying to be more social, so I decided to go clubbing. And I've had some really interesting experiences. One night I went out and, you know, I'm dancing, I'm doing my thing, and a girl turned around and she looked at me and did like the ew. Like the full ew. And I am not a ew. At worst, I'm a I am not a ew. And it wasn't just one, it was like 3 or 4. And it was like different pockets all around. And it hurt. Because I'm a meh. But yeah, it was a fun time. But getting back from Southside, there's the steps. And if you haven't gone on the Southside steps at like midnight to 2, you should. It's a rite of passage, especially after your legs are gone, you're not 100% here, and you just kind of look up and it looks straight up, and then you get halfway up and it still looks straight up, and you're just like, my God, that bed's gonna be real nice tonight. But yeah, has anybody put an all-nighter? Woo! Okay. So, I like to pull all-nighters, and I usually get pizza, and I realize the later in the night it is, the better the pizza will taste. Milanos at midday, terrible. Milanos at like 1:30 a.m., oh my god, you can't have a better meal. Because you just don't care anymore. You're like, I need food to put in me to fortify me for the rest of the night. Let's see. So, they don't teach us how to make friends like adults. They tell us to introduce each other with like the same 4 questions. Okay, what's your name? What's your major? Where are you from? And I add in there, are you on campus or off campus? Not, what do you do for fun? What kind of music do you like? What's your aspirations? Those same 4 questions. And like, I try to shake it up, but like my brain just like goes into that routine and you're like, yep. Hi, new person, what's your name? Something else. What's your major? Where are you from? On or off campus? And it's the same thing. And they don't teach us how to be like adults. College is supposed to teach you how to be adults. Not that. Like, anybody do the speed friending at orientation? Like, it's that routine, like, right in your head. And I really wish they taught us how to be adults, especially, like, meeting people. Because you can't ask someone when you're, like, 30 what your major is. Like, go into work first day. Hi, what's your major? Ah, crap, we're not in college anymore. But it's an experience. And, one day at a time. My name is Gabe. Have a lovely night.
Thank goodness there's a mic tonight. Sometimes I have a little trouble with my voice projecting. So if there wasn't a mic right now, this would probably be going something like this. Yeah. So I'm a barista at Starbucks, and we don't get mics at Starbucks. I can make a really good frappuccino, with like the whipped cream and like the toppings and like all that stuff. Nice like artery clogging drink. But good luck getting it because I get a lot of drinks just kind of piling up at the counter and I don't really know what to do with them. Has anybody ever used an Alexa? Well, my brother got one for Hanukkah this year, and now we have one in our kitchen. So the idea of them honestly kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, somebody on the other end of the Alexa just listening to you all the time. Like, I don't need somebody just listening to everything I'm doing all the time. I know you have to say Alexa for it to start recording you, but that means that it's always listening to you, and I just don't like that. I don't need somebody knowing how much oatmeal I consume in a week. I just don't need that. Are there any plant-based eaters out there? Does anybody know what happens when you eat a lot of fiber? Well, if you don't, I don't need anybody knowing about the warm lentil gas that happens all the time. The people on the other end of the Alexa don't need to know about that either. Also, I don't need people on the other end of the Alexa knowing that I squeal at my dog like it's the first time I've ever seen her every time I come home. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it at that because, to be honest, I'm glad I just don't have an Alexa because if I did, it would probably go something. What'd you say? She'd say, what'd you say? Anyways, thanks guys. I'm really glad that you were here tonight. Thanks guys.
What are we doing tonight? Yeah, sorry. That's exactly what I was expecting. No one to really talk. Anyway, so today, I'm not gonna try to be funny. It's more gonna be like a really funny story, or at least I'm gonna try to have this to be really funny. So, this is a high school story. This is my senior year. I serenaded a girl that I really liked. So, this is gonna be the whole thing. Hopefully it's under 5 minutes. And, hello. I was talking to the front desk guys, and they were so stoked to just watch, so I got a lot of pressure. So, we'll start off with how I met this girl. So she was actually a childhood friend from my neighborhood. And, I mean, naturally, you just kind of have to ask her out when you're old enough, right? So, we're in high school, senior year, it was the spring semester, and I was in physics. And I call this girl Physics Girl because she literally dropped my heart at negative 9.8 meters per second. And it just broke. All right, so that's a little foreshadowing there. So I was in physics class. I even brought her papers for her. You know, I was trying to be like that guy. And I learned the hard way that nice guys finish last. Just saying. So we were doing physics, and we were actually making cardboard boats. So this story gets weirder and weirder. So making these cardboard boats, had car wax all over it. It was like my babe. I was like, wow, I'm gonna put this in the pool. I'm gonna, wow. It's like Noah's Ark, but it's Jonah. Who knew? So then we make these cardboard boats, but what we needed to do was make a little jingle, right? Because it's not high school physics without jingles. And so I was like, shoot, what are we gonna do? So I told my physics teacher, hey, can I bring in my guitar? And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, it would be great. He's like, what song are you gonna play? Sweet Home Pennsylvania. I on the bus ride there, with the boat waiting for me, with my guitar in the bus seat, I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? Got it. So I wrote this whole whole spoof. And so I go over there, and this girl is taking an AP exam, so you kind of know she's smart. So she's taking an AP, her exam, and then so I'm on. So I'm rocking it on guitar, everyone loved it, and the thing is she missed it, and she knew I was gonna play guitar, and she really wanted to hear me play. So when we got back, after me losing, catastrophically, my boat it was just all wet, soggy. It was like, you pour Mountain Dew all over your pizza, and you eat it, and then like afterwards, the pizza box, that was my boat after my first race. And you got people, they have like 8 races. I'm like, how do they do that? Anyway, so what happened after that was, she was like, hold on a second, this is gonna take a little bit. Hey Jonah, I mean, I heard you play guitar. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And she was like, well, I mean, I kind of wanted to hear it before the year ended. I mean, you know, and I was like, she's dropping hints, all right? So then I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll just bring it in. And then I was procrastinating because I didn't know what song to play, right? I couldn't do Sweet Home Pennsylvania because that's just way too lame. So I thought, you know what? What's a great love song to serenade someone with? Got it. Wonderwall, right? Exactly. And that's exactly what I did. So I came in, verbatim. I had like a button-down shirt and everything. I was looking pretty fly. And it was the end of class, and we just discussed, all right, so our class lost. It's fine. Try again next year. Sorry, seniors won't be here, but we'll wish you well. So I was like, okay, time to do it. Because I came in at like 5 in the morning, dropped off my guitar, went to homeroom, whatever, and came to physics, Baxford. And so what happened was, I was like, all right, time to look like a rock star. So I started unbuttoning my shirt. You know, like kind of have like that grunge, you know? I was like, yeah. So like I even went like this a little bit. It's like, yeah, this is totally gonna work. So then she was just sitting there, right, doing her physics. Oh shoot. And she was just like, I don't know why her hair got longer. So she's doing her physics, and all of a sudden, you got me with my guitar. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And all the guys are like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. And they're like, oh man. So everyone has their phones out. I'm like, oh crap. So then I was like, all right. So, hey Julia, I'm Jonah. I don't know why I did that, but however, I was like, okay, time to go. And then I went, and I was playing my guitar, and I was like, today is gonna be the day that I'm gonna and I was like, oh shoot, what are the lyrics? So then I had to pull up the lyrics. And I was like, crap, what am I gonna do? So I had to pull up the lyrics, I had to stop like 3 times. And she recorded the whole thing. And then she shared it with her AP Statistics group chat, so everyone knows. So I was just like jamming out there, and then boom, and then so I was like, conveniently, I had my yearbook, and I was like, hey, perfect opportunity to get some digits. The yearbook. So I gave her my yearbook, so I'm like, hey, how would you sign my yearbook? She's like, yeah, sure. Oh, shoot. Yeah, sure, Jonah. And so she's sitting there with her little pen, and she's signing and signing and signing, and I was expecting her to write like this huge paragraph, like, Jonah, you're such an amazing guy, I can't believe you did that for me, like, I feel so, like, wow. And I was just like, okay, and then all of a sudden she's like, done. And I'm like, done? Like in my head, I'm like, aren't you supposed to write like this whole narrative of how like, you know, I did this heroic, whatever. So then I read the thing, and you know what she said? She said, it's basically a record in my head just every day. Have fun at Duquesne. All she gave me. And I was like, ah! And so I pretty much threw my guitar against the wall, and I was like, well, that didn't work. And I was like, well, I tried.
Somebody also said something about coming up the South Side Steps, and that honestly is one of my favorite things to do, because as an RA, it's my job to like get people in trouble, but I like to see people do dumb rather than do anything that's gonna like get you in trouble. I just want to see you do the dumb shit. So one of my favorite things is to look out of my window and watch the South Side Steps at 2 o'clock in the morning. Or as I like to call it, the Drunk Olympics. I have never seen so many people parade up a 211 flight stairs, yes, I counted, in drunk high heels and almost die. This is the best time of my life. My favorite personal story. There was a young woman that was coming up. She came out strong, let me tell you. Highest high heels I've ever seen in my life, and the boldest confidence, with the highest blood alcohol level. I'm telling you, she was seeing Jesus and looking down on him. So she gets to the top of the stairs, and she thinks that she's almost made it, like on that last tier front of those metal stairs where it's just like you're almost on the threshold. And then she looks back, and then she doesn't look at the next step. And then she slowly realizes that she's no longer going up, and she's back at the bottom of those metal stairs. Let me tell you, she was not happy. And neither was her teeth, because they were gone. So as I said, I'm an RA. And one of the things that we often have to do is called a medical transport. Or as I like to call it, let's see how drunk the blood alcohol level can go tonight. So, another story. This is just one of my lesser, more milder incidents that we had. There was a guy in a building, which I'm not allowed to disclose. Please don't get me fired. Hi, boss. There was a guy who, we walk into the room, and there's bottles literally everywhere. Solo cups knocked over. There's at least 3/5. And like, he has the audacity to pick up one bottle and put it behind his back very inconspicuously. And I'm like, what you doing? You know, drunk people never realize that they're wrong. Nothing. What's behind your back? I don't know. He dropped it. Like, oh, what's that? That's not mine, it's my roommate's. You mean him? So needless to say, that went very well. But then we got to see the blood alcohol level. So we get to the medical transport because there was someone laid on the floor. I'm glad you guys laughed at that. I also laughed at that. So we get downstairs and we have to put the guy in a wheelchair, and then we get outside, and he's like, I'm okay, I'm fine, watch, I can go, I promise, I can go by myself. And honestly, at this point, I just want to see if he's about to suck. So I'm like, okay, let's see if you can walk. Kid you not. Gets up. Takes 2 steps. Turns around. Say, look, I'm fine.
I was watching some college football lately. Couple good games on. And I was watching the Ohio State-Clemson game. And there was this fan. And I don't particularly like Ohio State. And there was this fan, he had a shirt on, he was going crazy for the camera. And his shirt said, Ohio State versus everybody. Everybody. He went ahead and took liberty for everybody. He said, everybody in the world versus my team, baby. I said, you're full of shit, pal. Everybody. Nobody gives a shit about Ohio State. I've seen this other shirt, I've seen like, Bowling Green, women's rowing versus the world. The entire world. Really, everybody, Tibetan monks don't like Bowling Green, women's rowing. I bet they do. I bet they pray for your team every morning, and then you're gonna go on a shirt and say that they don't. Really, you don't think Tibetan monks like Ohio State? You think they get up in the morning with a dartboard that has a Buckeye on it, and they're like, no, and then they pray for world peace except for the Buckeyes. They don't care about the Buckeyes. Seems like a bit of a stretch, Ohio State. Thanks. I have, like, pretty bad anxiety. And it flares up in, like, weird ways. Like, you know when you do that thing where like maybe you walk in, it's the first week of class and you like walk up to the wrong classroom, like open the door and you're like, all right. When I do that, I feel the need to like to explain myself. Most people don't care. I walk in and I go, I mean, come on, and then I walk out. Everyone in the classroom has AirPods in, and they don't care. No one even looked up when I entered, but I felt the need to go, oh, hey, I mean, what are you gonna do? Bye, everybody. Like Lou Gehrig, I'm waving off, like nobody cares. I'll do stuff like that. But I get worried about like weird, like hypothetical, like anxiety about I'll get all like down these weird thought trains of stuff that doesn't even matter. Like every time I go to Starbucks, I hate going to Starbucks because of my anxiety, and not for like there's a lot of people and like they all have like sweaters and like not that. Kind of like I'm worried for numerous reasons. One is because they might get my name wrong because they take your name. I'll get Trey sometimes. I don't like that at all. And I'm worried about that because one, it's embarrassing. They say Trey, and I go up, and if they would check my ID, I'm not that guy. I'm not him. I'm not Trey. I'm not that guy. But then I for some reason, I get really worried about garbage, and I get really worried that my poor grandkids are gonna be like sent to be like garbage hoarders, because that's gonna be a job. It's gonna be a job. Deal with it. Your grandkids are gonna be employed at garbage hoarding. There's gonna be a lot of garbage to clean up. And I'm worried that there's gonna be like these garbage people and like they have to wear like awful like masks and stuff and they're like peeling through garbage to find anything like usable because we used up everything that we had. And like I'm just so like I get once I order Starbucks I get down this thought train. I'm like, oh god, what if like my own grandson's digging through there and he's like he has like his buddies with him and they're like, oh look at this guy, look at one of these people in the past, he got double shot tall butterscotch latte. Look at this idiot named Trey. I hope he enjoyed his latte. Look at what we got now, Trey. Thanks, buddy. And I'm like up and down. I'm like, no, I'm your granddad. I love you. And my name's Troy.